Greetings, I'm Dr. Sean Reed, author of the Dating Toolbox, available on Amazon.com. So today I'd like to talk about places to meet women. I'm constantly hearing men complain that they're not able to meet women when in fact there are plenty of places to meet women. You just have to do a little work. You've got to put forth some effort. So let's talk about some of those places. Then I'm going to finish up talking a little bit about internet dating, and I'm also going to bring the issue of race in, which I know can be controversial. Okay, but by the end of this video, you're going to have a good grasp about things you can do and places you can go to meet women. So let's get started. The first place, supermarkets. Supermarkets are a great place to meet women. I was at the supermarket the other night, and there were at least 15 gorgeous women. Now, granted, maybe only two or three of those women were in my age bracket, but if you were younger, there were plenty of beautiful women shopping. Always are. And one of the easiest lines in the supermarket is, we all know how expensive groceries have gotten. So, I saw a woman staring at a box of granola, walk up and say, gosh, that $8 box of granola used to be $2. Isn't that crazy? Boom. And you started a conversation with her. So supermarkets are great places to meet women. Any kind of mall or shopping center. Okay. These are all public places, all great places to meet women. All right. Next, we have coffee shops. Coffee shops are also excellent. I met my wife at Starbucks. Okay. I met her. I saw her, I opened her with what is known as a jealous girlfriend opener. I did a video a while back on the jealous girlfriend opener. I used jealous girlfriend opener because I was kind of overwhelmed when I saw my wife. I had this ideal type in terms of how a woman looks. I'll talk about it later. I like certain things like straight, dark black hair, full lips, high cheekbones. Again, I'll talk about that later. It might seem kind of odd what I like, but we all like what we like. And my wife was just this perfect creature. And so I had to talk to her. And I was a little nervous, even though by this point I was pretty much a master pickup artist. And so I fell back on the rehearsed line of jealous girlfriend opener, which I'll talk about in another video. I opened her up. I ended up doing a venue change, taking her shopping, kissing her in the dressing room, and then bringing her back. And our first date was absolutely phenomenal. And 18 years later, we're still married. So coffee shops are great places to meet women. Gyms, right? I know it's harder today. A lot of women are absorbed in the gym. They'll have their headphones on. I know some seem approachable, but they are approachable, okay? The best way to approach a woman in the gym is to do something called demonstrating excellence in her presence. So you see a woman doing a squat. Let's say I see a woman doing a squat and she's not able to go all the way down. Usually 9 out of 10 times, that's because she doesn't have sufficient ankle flexibility. So what I'll say, hey, try put this little 2.5 pound plate under your heel, and voila, she's now able to do a perfect squat. You have now opened her. You've shown confidence. You started a positive relationship with her. So gyms are still good places to meet women. You just got to get after it, guys. Okay, what are some other places? Dance instruction. That's a lot of people haven't thought about that. We have an Arthur Murray studio in where I live in the Sugar Land Town Center. It is packed with women, beautiful women. And for every 4 women, there's 1 guy. So dance studios are great places to meet women. Get in there and learn how to dance. Okay. Next, we have dog parks. Dog parks are excellent places to meet women. Really a great place to go. You go there. I used to go to the dog park. I'd be there for nearly an hour. This was when I was in graduate school. It just so happens there was a bunch of other graduate students there. Again, actually, I did end up dating a gal from the dog park. So I dated women from all these places, and I've had a degree of success from all these places. But dog park is excellent. Okay, so now what I want to talk about, I want to talk a little bit about internet dating. Okay. First of all, we all know internet dating has gotten hard. It's gotten rough. 85% of the women are only interested in 15% of the guys. Internet dating is a rough territory for men, but should we give up on it altogether? No, we shouldn't. We still want to use internet dating to supplement the women we are meeting in the real world. So my big push is to have guys meet women in the real world. That's what we need to do, okay? That's where we're gonna meet 75, 80% of our women, but we still want to use dating apps. We still want to use internet dating, and I'll teach you some tricks and tools that will help you to become more successful with internet dating. Okay, so the big complaint guys make about internet dating is unless you're 6 feet tall, make six figures, and have a six pack, you're not going to be successful. And to a degree, that is true. So if we think about it, the internet is really unfairly biased against men. It's unfair, it's unjust, and it's not right. So because of that, in my opinion, we can embellish our numbers a little bit just to make it more fair. And the reality is that we're going to be meeting the same women that we would meet in the real world. And what do I mean when I say we embellish our numbers? Real simple. Let's say you're 5 feet and a quarter inches tall, or even 5.5. Round that number up. Always round that number up. So if you're 5'9.5", round up to 5'10". 5'8.5", round up to 5'9". Okay, it's not lying, guys. We're playing a game that's stacked against us. So we need to do everything we can to make it fair. So there's nothing wrong with this. All right, guys. Like I said, the world used to be a place that was discriminatory against women. It used to be discriminatory against non-white people. Now the world is a place that is discriminatory against good men who want to become fathers and husbands. So all I'm doing here is I'm evening the playing fields. So we're gonna round up. Okay. Let's talk about income. This is another area where we're going to round up. If I was still teaching, my pay wasn't that great. Most of the money I ever made was from real estate. If I was still teaching, I'd probably be making about $65,000 a year. $35,000 short of that $100,000 a year threshold that women want to see. But I also had a 401k with a full 6% match. So my college gave me more than $4,000 a year to save towards my 401k. Actually, in academia, it's called the 403B. Also, I got dirt cheap medical insurance. I think when I first started teaching when I was single, my medical insurance was like $29 a month. And then even with a family of 3, it was only $300 a month. So the reality was I was getting $800 in medical insurance for dirt cheap. So what I would do is take that money and add it to your income. So that's going to give you another $7,000 a year. So right there, you're going to have another $13,000 a year. And I had other perks and other benefits of my job. So take that and add it to the number. It's not being unreasonable to do that, guys. So my $65,000 a year job is now $80,000 a year. So when they ask you to put income, I would put $80,000, because when you bundle all my benefits together, it was $80,000. Guys, there's nothing wrong with doing that. Now, yes, you're not at the $90,000 range. Okay, so if you're 5'9.5", you're now 5'10", and you're now making $80,000 a year. That still can get you in the game if you know how to play that game properly. And let's talk a little bit about that. Okay. The way I was very successful with internet dating, extremely successful. I would say almost half the women I got were from Match.com. Now I know this is 20 years ago. Internet dating was much better back then. And I know you are not going to be as successful, but I have some tips and some tools I can help you with to make you more successful. First of all, I lived in a huge metropolitan area. I lived in Houston, Texas. So that gave me a large pool of women. So I would take women within a certain age group. So let's say I was 41. I was dating women between the age of 28 and 34. So I would target all those women, and then I would say slim or athletic. Don't check curvy, guys. Curvy often means fat. So I would check slim, athletic, age 28 to 34, and boom, I would generate hundreds of results. Now, what I did then is I had a standard response. That standard response was light. It was funny. I didn't say I was a college professor. I say I was a professional corrupter of the youth of America. I would make jokes. It would be fun. It would be light. And then so I'd have that standard message I would send to women, and then I would read her profile, and then I would customize that a little bit to her profile. So you're kind of doing two things. One, you're having a standard form letter, and that's going to save you time. Okay. Again, guys, it's a numbers game. I would respond to hundreds of women. It's going to save you time, but you're also going to customize it a little bit after reading her ad, her internet ad. And a lot of times, guys, when you read a woman's internet ad, you're going to say, oh my gosh, this woman's awful. So that's another reason why you have to read their ads. You just can't spam everyone with a standard message. You have to read their ad. You're going to have to spend some time and effort, but you can save time by having a standard form response that you then customize. Okay. Here's the next thing I'm going to tell you. Let me tell you a bit about me and my life. I was born in Sacramento, California, and I went to Rio Americano High School, where everyone was white. We did not have one black person at that school. We had one Asian person, and pretty much no other people of color. The women were also extremely gorgeous. I go to pick my son up at high school today, and I'm like, oh my God, these girls are so ugly and overweight. Back then, I went to a high school, everyone was white, and all the women were 9s and 10s. All the women were gorgeous, okay? So I moved from Sacramento to San Francisco, and at the age of 22, and for the first time ever, I saw Asian women, and I was like, oh my gosh, they're so beautiful. Now, people may say that liking Asian women is a fetish and I'm a bad man, but no, there's nothing wrong with liking what you like. And I found Asian women extremely beautiful. You know, I like the characteristics. I love long, dark, black hair, long, straight black hair. I like high cheekbones. I like full lips. So it just so happens that Asian women, I also like big eyes, which is hard to find. My wife happens to be half Asian with big eyes. She's Spanish and Asian. I also like Latina, so she was perfect for me. But so what I would do on my dating apps is the first thing I do, I would get in and I would target all the Asian women that are slim and athletic between the ages of 28 and 34, and boom, boom, boom. I would get out 40 emails a night, every night, okay? Not every night, some nights I was dating, but on the nights I wasn't dating, boom, I would hit tons and tons of emails, and my reaction, my game was pretty good. My website looked good. My opening lines were really good. You got to have, of course, good pictures, some action pictures. I'm really not getting into everything that it takes to have a great internet dating ad, but we're covering some of it. But my stuff was as good as possible. And so I was getting about a 40% response rate. So a little less than half of the women I would message were messaging me back. You know, probably being a college professor probably helped me, right? Being fit and good shape probably helped me. I wasn't 6 feet tall, I was 5'10", but I was close. Actually, my income was over $100,000 because I was making money in real estate. So I was able to say that my income was in excess of $100,000. And again, I'm sure that helped me. I think, I had a picture of me and my Porsche. So I'm sure, these things helped me. But nonetheless, I was getting nearly half the women I was messaging, I was getting a response. Now, here's where it gets interesting. On internet dating, you really need to differentiate yourself. So this is going to sound crazy. It is a little crazy. And it probably wouldn't work today today I'm 62. Let's just be honest, I'm not very good looking anymore. Turning 60 beat my face with an ugly stick. But when I was still in my early 40s, I was still good looking. And I was targeting women between the age of 28 and 24. So when a woman would respond to me, this was my response back to her. I was like, oh, wow. Type. You're a real person. That's great. You know what I think we should do? I think we should have a purely online relationship for a year, and then at the end of the year, have an online priest marry us in an online ceremony. What do you say? ... And then I'd write, on the other hand, you can just give me your phone number and we'll go have coffee sometime. Guys, I know it sounds crazy. I had tremendous success with that. Tremendous. I would say 65, 70% of the women I messaged responded positive. Some of them said, what's wrong with you? You're an idiot, right? You know, that's not funny. But most had a positive response. So 3 out of 4 times they would respond back. And more at half the time, I would get the number right then and there. Remember, guys, the purpose of the internet dating is to get that phone number. And then from there, the purpose is to get that date. Okay? So, this video is running a little bit long. There's one last thing I want to talk about. So that was my process to internet dating. We can get into that in more detail, but I had tremendous success with that process. I wanted to talk a little about also dating and dating Asian women. But this video really is running long. I do have some strong opinions in that area. I think this whole idea of Asian women being this certain type is wrong. Different women from different places are going to be very different. But again, this video is running long, and I know no one likes to watch an excessively long video, so I'm going to cut it short right there. Okay, if you guys like what you saw, if you like what you heard today, please hit that like and subscribe button, and happy dating.